From the mud to the rise, yeah, we built it on the grind. Trench talk, real talk, leave the fake ones behind. We don't fold, we don't break, every move we define. It's the code from the trenches where the real ones align.
Yo, what's good, fam? Today we're diving deep into the wild, twisted saga of YNW Melly, the rapper locked up and facing death by lethal injection. His new trial was supposed to start this September, but the streets and the courts keep throwing curveballs. This case? It's savage, it's brutal, and it's got the whole hip-hop world watching. Let's get into it. Jamel Demons, better known by his stage name YNW Melly, rose from the streets of Florida to the spotlight with a sound that blended melodic hooks and raw storytelling. His breakout hit, Murder on My Mind, dropped in 2017 and quickly went viral. The song's chilling lyrics about violence, death, and survival struck a nerve. Many called it prophetic, almost like Melly was foreshadowing the dark path his life would soon take. But this wasn't just rap bravado. In October 2018, Jamel's life took a deadly turn when he was arrested and charged with the double homicide of two of his closest friends and fellow YNW crew members. Christopher YNW Juvie Thomas Jr. Anthony YNW Sockchaser Williams. The state alleges that Melly didn't just kill these two young men, he went a step further and staged the crime scene to make it look like a drive-by shooting, hoping to throw off investigators. According to prosecutors, Melly and an accomplice lured Juvie and Sockchaser to a remote location, shot them execution style, then placed their bodies in a car and fired into it to simulate a gang-related shooting. This cold, calculated move shocked fans and the hip-hop community alike. The idea that Melly could betray his own friends, kill them, and then try to cover it up with a staged scene painted a picture of a man willing to do whatever it takes to protect himself, even if it meant murdering his own crew. The case quickly became one of the most high-profile and controversial in recent hip-hop history. Melly's music, once celebrated for its raw honesty, was now scrutinized as potential evidence of his guilt. The line between art and reality blurred, and the streets watched closely as Melly's fate unfolded in the courtroom. The first trial of Jamel Demons, aka YNW Melly, unfolded in 2023 amid intense media scrutiny and public interest. After days of testimony and 14 hours of jury deliberation spread over 3 days, the jury was unable to reach a unanimous verdict. The split was 9 jurors in favor of conviction on lesser charges of manslaughter, and 3 jurors opposed, resulting in a mistrial. Despite the judge's Allen charge, a legal instruction urging jurors to reach consensus, the deadlock remained firm. This meant no verdict was reached, and the state had to prepare for a second trial to seek justice for the alleged double homicide of Christopher YNW Juvie Thomas Jr. and Anthony YNW Sockchaser Williams. Since his arrest in 2019, Melly has been held in custody, and as of 2025, he has spent over 6 years behind bars without a conviction. The retrial was initially scheduled to begin on September 10, 2025, setting the stage for a high-stakes courtroom battle. However, this date has been postponed multiple times due to ongoing legal wrangling. The main reasons for the delays include unresolved appeals pending in district court, particularly concerning the admissibility of key evidence such as a documentary about Melly's life that prosecutors wanted to use but the defense argued was hearsay. Discovery disputes and motions over suppressed evidence, including phone calls and text messages involving Melly's co-defendant. Allegations of jail mistreatment and procedural issues raised by Melly's lawyers to challenge the fairness of his detention and trial conditions. Despite these setbacks, Melly himself has expressed a desire to proceed with the trial on the scheduled date, even against his attorney's advice, underscoring the urgency and pressure surrounding his case. If convicted in a retrial, Melly faces the death penalty, a grim reality intensified by Florida's recent legal reforms. Under the new law, the jury no longer needs to be unanimous to impose a death sentence, only 8 out of 12 jurors must agree. This lowers the threshold significantly and raises the stakes for Melly, who could become one of the first to face execution under this updated statute. This development adds a brutal layer of irony to Melly's story, a rapper whose breakout hit was titled Murder on My Mind now literally facing the ultimate punishment for murder. The retrial remains in legal limbo as courts continue to sort through appeals and motions. Prosecutors argue that new evidence and witnesses require more time for preparation, while the defense accuses the state of dragging the process and infringing on Melly's rights. The complexity of retrying a high-profile case after a mistrial means both sides must refine their strategies, making the road ahead uncertain. The case has polarized public opinion. Supporters argue Melly has been unfairly targeted and deserves a fair trial, while others believe the evidence is strong enough to convict. Meanwhile, Melly continues to maintain his innocence, pleading not guilty to first-degree murder charges. As of mid-2025, the retrial is one of the most closely watched legal battles in the country, symbolizing the intersection of hip-hop culture, criminal justice, and the harsh realities of life behind bars. This expanded summary draws from recent news reports, court documents, and legal analyses to provide a detailed picture of YNW Melly's ongoing fight in the justice system. Jamel Demons, better known as YNW Melly, is at the center of one of the most controversial and closely watched murder cases in recent hip-hop history. Prosecutors paint a chilling picture. They claim Melly planned the murders of his two closest friends, Christopher YNW Juvie Thomas Jr. and Anthony YNW Sockchaser Williams, and then coldly staged the crime scene to look like a drive-by shooting, attempting to cover his tracks and mislead investigators. The victims were not just acquaintances, they were his own crew, his own people, making the alleged betrayal even more savage and heartbreaking. On the other side, Melly's defense team fiercely denies these accusations. They argue that the prosecution's case is built on circumstantial evidence and smoke and mirrors, lacking any concrete proof that Melly pulled the trigger. His lawyers claim that Melly was unfairly targeted by law enforcement and the state prosecutor, pointing to possible discovery violations and procedural errors during the investigation and trial process. They insist that Melly deserves a fair shot at justice, emphasizing his right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This high-profile case has deeply split the hip-hop community and the public at large. Some fans and supporters believe Melly is innocent, caught in a legal system that disproportionately targets black artists and public figures. They argue that his music and public persona have been unfairly used against him, and that the state is trying to make an example out of him. Others take a harsher stance, saying that if you rap about murder and live a violent lifestyle, you have to be ready to face the consequences, no matter how famous you are. Online, the debate rages on. Social media platforms are flooded with hot takes, theories, and heated arguments. Some ask, should YNW Melly be free? Others question if he has already served enough time behind bars. The streets, the fans, and the hip-hop world are all watching every move in this legal saga, waiting for answers. Meanwhile, the legal battle continues to drag on. Melly's lawyers are grinding non-stop, filing motions to get him released on bond and challenging the conditions of his jail time, arguing that he has been mistreated and that his constitutional rights have been violated. The prosecution, however, remains relentless, pushing for the harshest sentence possible, including the death penalty. With the retrial repeatedly delayed, the rapper's fate hangs in the balance. The next trial date was set for September 10, 2025, but even that is not guaranteed to hold, as appeals and legal disputes over evidence and witness tampering claims continue to complicate the case. Only time will tell if YNW Melly will finally get his day in court or if the saga will drag on even longer. One thing's for sure, this case is far from over, and the stakes couldn't be higher. YNW Melly's story is a savage reminder. In the streets and the courts, it's respect, revenge, and survival, but sometimes, the price is your life. Hit that like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below. What do you think? Is Melly guilty, or is he a victim of the system? Stay tuned, cause this saga ain't over.